Blog Talk Radio. Welcome to MindShifters Radio with your co-host, the Forgiveness Doctor, Dr. Michael Ryce, and his wife Jeanie. Michael and Jeanie share with you the wisdom of the ancient Aramaic internal process of forgiveness. They offer tools and support 5 days a week. They will support you in building a solid foundation within yourself to live in pure love. In Aramaic, Rahma. Michael is the author of Why Is This Happening to Me Again? For more information on Michael and Jeanie, please visit www.whyagain.com. And now your co-host, the Forgiveness Doctor, Dr. Michael and Jeanie Ryce. To the brightness within you, and the truth that is rooted within me.
Hi, and welcome to MindShifters Radio with the Forgiveness Doctor, that's Dr. Michael Ryce. Our calling number is 646-200-4169. Press 1. That puts you in queue to talk to us. We'd love to hear your comments or your questions. Hello, Michael. Welcome to the show.
Hi, sweetie. Welcome, everybody, to MindShifters Radio and the ancient Aramaic process of forgiveness. We are excited and delighted to be able to share this hour with you and to share the tools of the ancient Aramaic language. And our project is one of offering the tools with which to hit the delete key on hostility and fear in your mind. It's interesting that we live in a world that tells us that forgiveness is about letting somebody else off the hook for what's happening inside of us, instead of what forgiveness was actually originally designed for, which is to remove from your mind what never belonged in your mind. Just what never belonged in your human mind, any form of hostility or fear. You're just not designed for it. It was never meant to be there. And so what we're here to support you in is learning the tools with which to remove what never belonged. Anybody ever tell you that forgiveness is about removing from your mind what should have been void from your mind, vacant from your mind in the first place? Well, that's what we're here to share with you. And part of the project is that of creating a space on planet Earth where it's actually truly safe for real, honest-to-God human life to show up. And we offer an experiential definition of human life, which is quite different from what the culture teaches. The culture will teach you that human life is this thing that's, made of all kinds of insanity, and after all, you're only human. And that's all a lie. Let's tap into what a human life really is. Hold a newborn child, and you know exactly what a human life is. It is this awesome active presence of love that each of us is designed to live from. And so forgiveness is a tool for returning to the direct experience of your human life, returning to exactly what you were designed to be experiencing from the beginning. And the tool for doing that is called forgiveness. So we invite you to join us in the trek of learning forgiveness, of teaching forgiveness, of making forgiveness available to every mind, heart, and being on the planet. We travel, we teach, show 6 to 10 months of the year, and our main workshop is Why Is This Happening to Me Again? And I'll often get people who say, well, I heard you're doing this workshop on forgiveness, but it's okay, I don't need to attend it because I've already forgiven everybody, my mother, my father, my sister, my brother, my kids, my neighbor, myself. I've forgiven my former wife and my former husband. I've forgiven my present spouse. I've even forgiven my future spouses. And what I know from that language is that that person has done absolutely zero forgiveness work today. Forgiveness has nothing to do with letting other people off the hook because of what's inside of you. Forgiveness is the tool with which you go inside yourself and remove what never belongs. If you're not familiar with that conversation or that doesn't make sense, you want to know more about that, please go to our website, www.whyagain.com, and on our website, on the right-hand side, you'll see a link that says Download Worksheets. There's about half a dozen links down. And actually, we're in the process of switching over. Probably within the next couple of weeks, we'll have our new site up, which will be www.whyagain.org. And when you get to the .org site, the link will be up at the top instead of down on the right-hand side. But it's the Download Worksheet, and that will give you, a whole series, dozens of links, but the first 7 in particular relate to the forgiveness process, relate to how to go inside and change the content of your mind, remove hostility and fear. So that's what we're here to support you in. That's what we're here to do, and in so doing, create a space for the safety of human life upon the earth, and to put an end to war, to put an end to the insanity of the conflict, the rage, the grief, the guilt, the pain. It's an interesting video that Jeanie and I just watched, done by the History Channel, and apparently, supposed to be historically accurate, about a couple of feuding families up in the Virginia area called the Hatfields and McCoys. And it's a really powerful bird's-eye view of exactly how humans move into misunderstanding and through their hostility and fear, losing contact with their true essence. Even though they talk religion and they talk about God and all of that sort of stuff, how they end up raging and slaughtering each other, which has just gone on for too long on planet Earth. And the reason it's gone on is because human life has been disappeared. The active, awesome presence of love has been voided in most people's lives. Most people come into the world, and immediately the world goes to work on making sure they don't function as humans, making sure they function as hostility and fear machines. If you found more hostility and fear in your life than you wish you had, we've got a tool for you. We can show you precisely how to remove all hostility and fear from your mind. It's a process, not an instant thing. It's not overnight. It is a process that takes work. It takes commitment. You have to hang around it long enough to build the brain cells to understand that it's possible. And it's, of course, the opposite of what the world teaches. So we're here to share that technology with you and to support you in the process. And we're delighted that you're with us. And Jeanie, is Dr. Kim with us today? Is David with us?
So you're both with us.
Oh, cool. Well, gentlemen, how do you be this fine afternoon? We're actually getting some cool weather here in Missouri.
Yeah, we have the cool weather in Illinois as well.
Nice.
Well, I bet you're enjoying that cool weather after the hundreds we had all last week.
Crazy, wasn't it? Yes, sure are.
Are you there?
Well, anything to...
I am.
Hey there, sir. How do you do?
I'm doing very well, Michael. Nice to hear your voice, Tim. Good to have you here at the intensives and your participation. And all of a sudden it's all over here for this particular season, and we're getting ready. We're moving forward to the next season now. So we hope to see you back here again next year.
Well, I'm working on that as a strong possibility. It was a wonderful time, and I've had contact with several people since leaving. It's only been a couple days, but people who are doing worksheets and having stuff come up for them as they return home and trying to maintain the state of mind and the healthy eating habits and breathing that we established while we were there. So it's been a very powerful experience.
Yeah, and of course the real work comes now with returning, and all of the old stimuluses are there, and the opportunity to practice putting what has been learned into the everyday behaviors of everything that goes on. So great that you contacted people people and staying connected with them. And that is our support as well, that we continue to move in that same direction of healing. So, anyone else out there?
Well, do either of you gentlemen have anything to share before we check and see what our caller situation is like and what's happening on the website?
No, I'm ready to hear and see if, what's going on with the folks out there.
Well, I would just share that I had a really heavy load of exhaustion to deal with yesterday, because I got up at 5 in the morning the previous day and didn't go to bed until 3. But I treated myself well and got some nice work done and ate healthy and did some still point breathing and some worksheets and got to bed fairly early. So today is much better, much nicer, more relaxed. And I'm just sitting at the office trying to look through some of the hundreds of emails and notes and messages to get back into the routine and to start seeing people again on Monday. And I'm just very aware of the need to stay focused and watch the internal responses so that if something negative pops in, I tap, breathe, do a worksheet, make a note about making a worksheet in the future, and stay focused. And I think it's probably likely that everybody else who was at the intensive is, experiencing something similar. We had a very dynamic 11 hours drive back with 3 of us from the intensive in there for the past 9 days, and talking a lot about what we've been through, what we took from it, what we will do when we get home. And I simply, I hope people will take advantage of this internet show and call in and use it for support and use it to clarify questions and maintain the momentum that they created for themselves when they were at the intensive.
Well, I talked to Mark yesterday, and he has briefed his wife and taken her through a worksheet, so there's lots of good stuff happening there.
Wonderful. Yeah, I sent him a couple messages and haven't gotten a response yet, but I heard from Susan D., and she made it home safe and sound, and she was experiencing, as she got closer to home, more and more stuff was coming up for her. So I imagine we're all going through that to one degree or another, because it was, from my experience, an especially productive and intense work period for the 9 days that we were there. So the transition will be even greater, because it's, when you reach that new level of vitality and uncover that much stuff, it tends to set you up to see even more about your life that is less than what you want it to be.
Dr. Tim,
for
did
sure,
you by
it's part of the process. Go ahead, Jeanie. Excuse me.
Tim, did you by chance leave a notebook for NET here?
Yes, I remembered that yesterday when I was unpacking. I said, "Oh, my white binder isn't there." So when you guys are headed out west, just stop in Chicago and drop that off, will you?
Okay. Well, actually, heading up to Canada, we will be coming towards that direction.
Oh, well, if you're anywhere close, let me know. I'll drive over and meet you to munch on an apple and get my notebook.
Okay.
How soon are you coming up to Canada?
We'll probably be heading up that direction in about a week and a half to 2 weeks. We were originally going to be heading out actually yesterday, and then it was just too much to do with everything we had on our plate. So we're going to take a week here and then probably do a week in St. Louis, a week or so with my daughter and granddaughter and grandchild, and then we'll be heading up that way. I hadn't really thought of it.
Before then?
Say it again, sweetie?
I was just asking if he needed it before then.
Oh, No, I have several copies. I've taken that training enough times. I have other copies of that book, so thank you.
Okay.
Well,
very cool. But we do have a caller.
Well, before we move on to the caller, I just had the thought that I hadn't really considered that we'd be going through Chicago on the way, but, if Reverend Tom would like to do something at Unity, and I know you said things are really busy there, so that might not work, but maybe we could pop in and do, a Sunday service and a Y workshop or something like that. So put that thought out there.
All right.
And see what unfolds.
All right. As soon as you get me the date, I'll ask him.
Cool. All right. Well, maybe we could do that in reverse. You could ask him if he's got an interest, and if so, then we'll look at a date. Because we are going to be coming through that way, and it would just be a matter, if there is an interest, of adjusting our schedule. And maybe, let's see, today is Friday, right?
Yep.
Saturday's Sunday. So maybe 2 weeks from Sunday.
That'd be the 26th.
Yep, the 26th.
Would probably be a possibility. And if that absolutely doesn't work, it could be the week before, too, but I think we'd like to have just a little more time to get out of here. So, Jeanie, let's see what our caller has to say.
Okay, we actually have two callers. The first one's area code 205. You're on the air. Who do we have?
Hi, this is Pam from Alabama.
Well, hey there, Pam from Alabama. How are you doing, lady?
I'm doing very well. I just wanted to share with you, I measured my waist last night, and I had lost 6 inches. So I thought that was
awesome.
Yeah, I think so too. And of course now doing all the right things to keep it that way. And I just have a question again on the worksheet. The one that I have the confusion about is 1B, where I now feel. Do you want me to go what this worksheet was about, or can you just?
1A, you've got the name of the person that it's about.
Yeah.
1B is what's the situation. So this is about Charlie, and he stomped on my toe.
Oh, right.
So that would be 1B.
Okay.
And then 1C would be the feeling. How do I feel? Well, I'm angry.
Right. I got that, but then it's when I get down to number 6 where I'd say I now feel some better, and about 1B, see that. And 1B, you take what you put up in B, is that right? And I'm still not clear on that.
When you get down to number 6, what you're looking for, once you've gone through the forgiveness process, is a shift in perception. Do you see it differently? Like, for instance, maybe the situation would be Charlie stomped on my toe, and I'm angry. And I'm angry because he doesn't care about me.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to punish him by stomping on his toe. Then when I get down to number 6, after I cancel the goal,
right.
I see that when I see him stomp on my toe, if I were doing that behavior, it would mean I didn't care about somebody. It might not mean that for him. And so in number 6, I might start to see that, I can see that Charlie was having a really bad day, and him stomping on my toe had nothing to do with me. It was where Charlie was at.
Okay.
As opposed to it being a reflection that he doesn't care about me.
Okay.
Where Charlie was at. So that might be the kind of result that you get.
All right, that does help. And I just want to say hello to everybody from the intensives that might be on here. Hope they had a safe trip home. Mine was 9 hours, but it went by very easily, so I was a little bit tired. But my cat is happy to see me.
Oh, good. So your cat's over the snit?
I'm sorry?
The cat is over its snit?
Right. He fussed at me all day long yesterday, but now he's just lying over there looking regal. So he's home again and happy. Anyway, thanks, Michael. That does help to clarify that.
All right, delighted. Appreciate you, and it was a delight to have you here. It was fabulous.
Thank you so very, very much.
All right, take care. Bless you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Area code 541. You're on the air. Who do we have?
Hello, it's Julie from Ashland. I think everyone knows that now.
Julie from Ashland, Oregon. We had fun with you on that point.
Yeah, that was really fun. I probably don't need to say it anymore because Julie Haversack doesn't really call in that much.
Right.
So, that's what I was trying to distinguish. But anyway, I'm going through the food thing, but I'm not losing the commitment. It's just taking a while to establish the order in my life because I have a freezer full of meat and I have bread and I have butter. And I don't want to eat those things, and I guess I need to do a worksheet on, throwing it away and giving it away, because I usually shop for bargains, and so I stock up on things. So anyway, I'll be doing those kind of worksheets. I did buy a juicer.
So my thought would be that you might want to do some worksheets on generosity.
Okay.
And a good mind shifter might be, it's safe and healing for me, Julie, to be abundant and totally generous.
Oh. Ooh, those would be good. That would take care of some other things in my life, too. Like people who owe me money. People who owe me money, I really think instead of waiting around for them to pay me back, I really think it's better for me to move in the energy field that I'm in and keep moving forward and creating and not worrying about.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, my relationship has changed. My partner, Ed, is not interested really in doing this work with me. He's interested in the work that's appropriate for him to heal as he sees it. So I'm letting go. I just don't want to be in his energy field anymore. And, trying to make something called a relationship. And I'm just going to let it be a friendship, but I'm not calling him my boyfriend and all of that. And I just had that talk with him today, and it just spontaneously came out really clearly. It wasn't hard. There's still a lot of love between us, and that won't change. So that's interesting. I mean, I'm just in a new place, and I'm staying committed to it. And anything that is unlike love, I'm working on removing in myself, and I'm making decisions from a whole new place for myself. So that feels good, because I didn't have any direction before, and I was waiting for his direction, and
right.
It was just going nowhere. I didn't know if he was coming or going, and I still don't, and that just doesn't need to be my concern or responsibility. I need to, I want to. I want to live my life to the fullest.
There you go.
And I do.
That's the whole idea there is what we talked about toward the end of the intensive, is that thing of being self-wise. And it's self-wise to take care of yourself instead of, I'm hanging around waiting for somebody else to decide how my life should go.
Yeah. So it's just shifted a whole lot what relationship is for me. And I just love this thing that came up at the end too about healing dissonances and those sorts of things, because they can really be healed quickly and easily, knowing in the context of that what we really want and what we're really inclined towards is to resonate harmony and consonance and resolution. And so I'm just going to be doing that wherever it is, however it presents in my life. And it feels like, it's just building a bridge home. I'm walking across the bridge to waking in consciousness. And whatever I meet, I can resolve and bring it with me, bring the love with me as I go, and let go of the story.
Nice work. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's feeling good.
Absolutely fabulous piece of work.
Thank you.
You're right on track.
Yeah, I definitely feel so certain about what I came away from the workshop with. Just really confident that I have gotten what I wanted. I wanted to learn how to use these tools and live in this truth again. And I say again because it's always been there for me. throughout all my lifetimes, and so the capacity with these tools to heal all out lifetimes right here, right now, that's what I'm here for. And it's working, and I love it. Thank you.
Fabulous. Very cool. Well, you know that we're on your team. I didn't get a text from you yesterday, so I was wondering if I was going to get one.
Oh, yeah, I am behind on those. I sent you a text giving you my status. I have 10 to do today, but I will. I am.
Fabulous. Well, we hold the space, young lady.
Thank you.
Nice work.
Thank you so much. Okay, I hold the space too.
Awesome. Thanks.
All right.
Okay, you got another caller, Jeanie? Hello, Jeanie.
I do. It's area code 954. You're on the air. 954?
Hello?
Hi.
954. I think that's me. Hi, how are you?
Awesome. Who do
This
we
is
have?
Monica.
Oh,
We
hi,
have Monica.
You finally made it. Bless your heart. You had to go around about to get there, didn't you?
A little bit, yeah. It's just been an amazing experience. I've been sleeping a bit. I didn't get much sleep on the trip home. So when I got home yesterday, I took care of the kitty cats, and I just kind of tucked myself in and got some much needed rest. So I'm up now.
Fabulous.
So
Well,
glad to
welcome
hear
back
from
to
you.
the world. Did your flight end up working out reasonably, or did you end up sleeping in the airport?
Well, actually, I was very concerned about that for a while, and then thanks to a dear friend, Julie from Ashland, Oregon, I went and I just asked Rahma and Ruka Dakuchi to please just help me, just be there. And I got to Atlanta, Georgia. The flight was 5 hours late, so I missed the connection. And when I got there, I found out that there were hotel accommodations available. So I got to use a hotel clean up. Didn't really get to sleep there because it just wasn't enough time. But it was nice to have that option. And then went back, and the flight for going home was on time, so that was great. And just came straight in, so there was no problem. The plane flights were beautiful. The pilots did great jobs, so that was really nice. And I had an opportunity to do worksheets while I was flying, so that was very nice. Just really helped me feel centered again. And
Fabulous. So the airline took care of the hotel being available for you?
They did. They took care of everything. No, they even supplied me with toothbrush and toothpaste.
Very cool. Well, that's awesome. So how does life look post the 17 days at Heartland?
Wow. Well, it was interesting coming back to the same house that I left. I had been cleaning up, just disposing of things, starting with the kitchen, of foods and things, and I went out and picked up a few groceries yesterday. Things I'm not really sure how to cook yet, things like sweet potatoes and what have you, or things I don't know how to prepare raw yet, which is really what I'm looking forward to. But I'm getting a blender and getting a juicer for sure at some point this week, and going to start following the path. I've been very good at the airport. I was given 2 food vouchers, and I wound up not using either one because the food in the airports just wasn't what I considered edible anymore. And since I made a commitment to creating a vessel that would be one that would be appropriate to carry the higher energy, there's just no point in going for anything like that again. So it's been interesting. I haven't really felt any. Well, thank you. Yeah, just being around so many wonderful people all those days just was absolutely wonderful. I cannot say what a blessing it was. You and Jeanie, all the amazing environment and everything that you provided for us, and then everybody who attended, such absolutely wonderful people, and that I never would have expected to have met if I hadn't been there. So, double opportunity, and very much appreciate that.
Well, we are definitely very blessed with the quality of people that show up here and the willingness to do the work, and it's always a shock when people start to really get to know each other, the kinds of things that virtually everybody in the group has been through. That you'd never know by looking from the outside, and then the safety of the space to dump and unload those things and come out the other end is pretty powerful.
It is, and I'm keeping up with everything. Support groups, I'm following through on that. I went to one last night, and it looked like something else was scheduled, so I'll go next week. And I would say to anybody who's listening who has not yet been to an intensive over in Heartland, please consider it. It would be one of the best things you could do for yourself, your life, for your family, for anyone that you know and love. It's an amazing growth opportunity. I can't state it enough.
I hear that one. And so was Patricia's group not going last night in Fort Lauderdale?
Well, I went there, and I was running it a little late. I had overslept, and so I threw on some clothes, went there, and it looked like there was another program going on inside, and I could hear something else related to it going on, and I didn't want to intrude, so I didn't go in. And then I saw on the calendar it had been changed, so I guess it's Wednesdays now, based on what was written on the board.
Oh, okay. Well, I haven't talked to Krista. I'll have to give her a call and say hello and see what's happening. So thanks for letting me know about that.
Yeah, and of course, I'm looking forward to going to Michael and Margaret's workshop too, or support group when they get that going, when they get back. And in the meantime, I plan on just touching bases with everybody. I've got everything set up as far as getting the pages done and support for that. So it's a good thing. It's just a matter of consistency. I see that. And just really changing the priorities. Whenever I get to the point where I start to feel that little manic carbon-based memory going again, I know I can take a deep breath. I can call up Rachma. I can ask Luca the coach to come in and just please provide the direction. And it just sort of shifts everything around. It just takes a second to do it, and it just shifts the whole focus about what I need to do and how I need to be doing it, changes it around. Because fear has been rampant in my life, and I just didn't know what to do before, didn't have a solution, and thanks to you, I've got the tools. All of the above.
Yes, that is. And isn't it amazing? It really shocks me when I think about how many people live in a world where they simply don't have tools. They simply, it would be like the person who wants to build a house and they need to dig the foundation by hand and they don't have a shovel. It's like, how do people do this? How do people live and survive? It's just like, oh my goodness. And I guess ultimately, with the short lifespan that most people live, they really don't survive. And so we are certainly here to not only support people in surviving, but support people in thriving, really, truly thriving.
Well, you've changed perspective on everything. That being I went to Whole Foods last night and briefly into the grocery store, and even in the health food store, the amount of produce that they have from other countries. It's amazing. And there's nothing wrong with produce from other countries except for the irradiation makes it not food anymore, which is a shame. So exactly. I'm either going to, I was very careful about asking and went to the juice bar, in fact, because I didn't have a juicer yet. And I asked the guy behind the counter, he's nice enough to answer me honestly, well, what American produce do you have? And the only thing he could identify was carrots and ginger. And the rest, who knows what you're getting.
Isn't that amazing? And we just actually came across the information for those who are listening to the show, and shared it with the group at the intensive this weekend, our food purveyor told us, and we always insist on American produce. We want to support American farmers and American food production. But the way we're going, we could very well end up, the way we're going to war over oil, going to war over food, because the farmers are going out of business left, right, and center, and they're growing such garbage. They're growing corn. There are people starving in the world, and beautiful farmlands being grown for a highly ecologically poor fuel source called ethanol, coming from corn, because somebody got supplementation from the government and money, and it's all the money game, and it's so crazy. But what our food purveyor told us is that everything now that comes from outside of the United States is irradiated. So the companies that yesterday had to pay big bucks to get rid of their toxic radioactive waste have now, just like they did with fluoride, convinced Americans that this is good for you. We now are going to charge you for this and make money from our waste. And so now, and if you think about food as a living organism that's designed to feed you, imagine laying your child down and irradiating them. Let's see how they do. Let's see how alive they stay. Well, lay your carrots, your apples, your oranges, your grapefruit, your pineapple, your whatever it is down and irradiate it, and let's see how well it serves and supports you being alive. And it's insane.
Well, I'm going to start gardening a little bit, I think, to supplement what's available in the store. But it's funny, what you were talking about, irradiating your child. There was an experiment, not much published, but there is an experiment you can verify. In the 1950s, some government agency decided they wanted to know how much radiation children could take, and they took a group of little ones, 4, 5, 6-year-old kids, and they subjected them to radiation over an extended period, high amounts of radiation. And, of course, they came down with all kinds of cancers and other things. And that was just a test, just to see what they could do to human beings, how much radiation a child could absorb, I guess, and still stay alive and functional to some degree. Do you remember reading about that?
No, actually I don't, but I'm making a note, and I will be reading about it.
Yeah.
How bizarre does it get, eh?
Yeah.
How bizarre does it get? So this was in the 50s?
Yeah, in the 1950s, I remember seeing a picture of kids in a room together, little cots and things. And I guess they flooded the whole room with X-rays or some sort of radiation. I think it was X-rays maybe. And they wanted to test the tolerance level of these kids. Now, I don't know if there were parents involved, if these children were orphans, or, how they possibly gained access to these kids. But there was a group of kids, and they did test them. They did run the radiation on them. So, I'll look it up.
So now everything that comes from third world countries, folks, go start talking to your grocery store manager, your grocery store, and the person who runs the grocery department probably knows nothing about food. They're business people. Starting informing them. They don't know. Inform them as to what's going on. And let's get a wake-up call going around the country. And if you start telling your local grocery store, and you get your neighbors telling your local grocery store that you're not going to shop there if they're using third world produce, which is irradiated, and for both reasons. Of course, the radiation's insane. But then, that you want American farmers supported. You want your neighbors supported in the food that's bought. Go to your school, your local school board, and tell them you want food bought from the farmers in your community, not food bought from somebody down in a country where they still defecate in the fields and use DDT. It's just time for a wake-up. And so start speaking up if that makes sense to you. And we're going to change the way the game is done.
It makes all kinds of sense to do that, yes.
Yes. Very cool. Well, is there any way we can support you today, Monica?
Well, no, I wanted to touch bases. I'm feeling really good. I've just been watching what I'm eating and drinking and looking forward to that new book, Recipes. And meantime, I'm just going to figure out what to do with the stuff that I got yesterday. I got some beautiful portobellos, all American. And I talked to Chef Ari, while he was there about something called a George Foreman grill. I was going to get rid of it, and he said, no, if you have to eat cooked foods, you can grill vegetables on it. So I'm going to try that.
Yep, sure can. And keep them grease-free.
Yeah, sounds good.
Cool.
I'm going to have to learn everything about that.
Yes, well, it's a learning process, and do your own gardening, sprouting, all of that is just part of the process of waking up and taking back charge of our lives.
Absolutely. Well, God bless you guys. I'll let you go to let some other callers on, but I just want to let you know. Thank you so much.
Delighted. Take care, Pleasant. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
We are so blessed to get to do what we do. David, any thoughts? Dr. Tim, any thoughts?
We have 2 callers.
Oh, okay. Well, let's just go right on with callers.
Area code, one caller. Okay, area code 352. You're on the air. Who do we have? Area code 352.
You're on the air, 352. Are you with us?
Okay, let's go to the next caller then. Area code 847.
Hello?
847.
Hi.
Welcome. Where are you calling from? Who are we talking with?
This is Cindy. I'm calling from the Chicago area.
Hey, welcome, Cindy.
Thanks. You know what? I just have a question or a comment. I'm just in my self-observation. I recognize that I just have been having a lot of boredom with my life lately, like the past month or two. It's summertime, and I didn't really have any trips planned or not a whole lot going on. But I also recognize in just observing myself that in this state of boredom, I tend to want to create some kind of drama, whether it's picking an argument with somebody or making a health issue for myself, so then I have to go, to the doctor or something. So would I be possibly doing worksheets about the boredom?
I would suggest that worksheets would be an excellent idea around boredom, and boredom tends to be an avoidance mechanism. There's something I don't want to look at, something I don't want to deal with. So I would be working on that and seeing if there's something under the surface to do with that boredom. Do you have any thoughts, Dr. Tim?
Well, hi, Cindy.
Hi.
Yeah, I think that it's like any other thing. It's a distraction and a drug. So, there are lots of different ways to structure worksheets around either opening up by targeting the boredom itself or the use of the drug itself. You could actually think about the strength of the feeling of boredom and use that as thinking in terms of this is my craving for my boredom. The stronger the level of boredom, the stronger the craving for this distraction from something. And when you dismantle the craving for the distraction, you get to see what's underneath that you're trying to avoid.
Okay. So I will, I can start doing that today. And then I have another question that kind of piggybacks off a caller that was 2 callers ago about being abundant and generous. I have an office space that I had agreed to share with a friend of mine. She didn't have anywhere else to take her business. She was moving. and I agreed to let her into my office space. She's been in there with me since January. I'm giving her a very good monetary deal on renting the space from me, and I find that she is consistently late in paying me on her rent money, and I feel irritated and bothered by this. I feel disrespected by her that she's just constantly late. It's the 10th of August already, and she hasn't paid me for August yet.
Well, my other thought there would be to start to look at, how does it look like your life to be irritated when people don't meet your expectations? Of course, holding her accountable is a reasonable thing to do. The responsible, maybe clear out the irritation, and then some responsibility communication. We have an agreement. And our agreement is on the first of the month that I'll have the rent available. And so what I'd like to do is ask you to be accountable for that, and if you choose not to, then what I'd like to do is I'd like to help you by creating some sort of an incentive. How about if you don't have it to me on the day we agree, how about there's a 10% additional payment due? Would that motivate you? Would that help? So you can come from a space of being supportive and helpful, because maybe she needs some support on how she handles her finances and her money life. And or you might even invite her, rather than being an irritation, see that it's something she's got a challenge with. And of course, there's a good likelihood, a real wild guess, that there's been some time in your life where you've had some challenges with finances. And so that would be where the irritation would come from. And as you forgive and remove that, then you can simply be a space of support to assist her in moving through that and coming out the other side.
Yes, awesome. Thank you.
Cool. So let's see, the intensive you were at was back in April. How are you finding a few months post-intensive? How is the 9 days that you did in Florida impacting your life?
You know what? I thought that it was really good. I came home and I started doing the work, and to be blatantly honest, I started shifting and changing, and it scared me because I didn't know quite who I was. So honestly, I took a step back from the work and just kind of lived my life, and now I'm ready to start doing the work again. So I'm stepping back into it again.
Cool. Well, keep us posted if there's any way we can support you in the process, but I definitely do some worksheets around that irritation and then open a responsible dialogue with your office companion and see if there's some way you can support her in healing that issue in her life.
Okay, I will do that. Thank you.
Cool. All right, blessings. Take care. Jeanie, do we have any other callers? Anything happening in the chat room?
Nobody else has their hand up, and I was just reading, Peacemaker said, boredom, it may be because of limitations which causes blocks that kills creativity, aka boredom. Most of the boredom usually caused on a more global scale than an individual scale.
Well, we kind of live in a world that tells us we've got to be doing something at every minute of our lives, otherwise there's something wrong with us. And of course, that's simply getting people addicted to busyness, where, the difficulty of just being able to sit still and be with oneself, to be with one's own thoughts. There's the avoidance aspect of it for most people. It's like, wait a minute, I don't want to look in here. I don't want to deal with what's going on here. And if I don't have something to do, then I have to create some kind of a distraction so I don't have to look inside and deal with what's going on in here. And so just taking the worksheet process to delve into deeper and deeper parts of the mind can be a powerful way to move forward.
Right. And we do have another caller. We're down to about 9 minutes. Area code 702, you're on the air.
Hi, this is Mary Lou and Joanne and Susan from the kitchen at Heartland.
Well, hello, Mary Lou, Joanne, and Susan from the kitchen in Heartland. How do you be?
Wonderful.
So what's happening in the kitchen at Heartland?
Well, what's not happening in the kitchen is we haven't figured out how to repurpose this jicama and ginger salad that we have. So it's like, anybody have any suggestions on repurposing that wonderful salad? We'd love to hear it. It's got carrots and jicama and a lot of ginger. So, so it was the easiest way to get in touch with Jeanie was to call in.
Well, my highest thought would be that you take some of the flax seeds and some of the sesame or the sunflower seeds and blend them and create spicy crackers out of them. That would be fabulous.
That's the next purpose. It was, what do we want to eat for lunch with it? So we were trying to find lunch items with it. But yes, definitely, it will make great crackers. Jeanie, do you have any other suggestions on it?
No, I don't. But you reminded me of the crackers that are in the dehydrator, so I'll come down and show you how we flip them and stuff.
We
after the show.
Put them back in for 6 hours.
Did you put them over on the other screens?
Yes, ma'am.
Awesome. Good job.
Yes, ma'am. We did learn some things about being in the kitchen with Ari.
Awesome.
So we'll definitely put that. So we're going to have salad for lunch, and with tomatoes and avocado and red peppers and salsa, and we'll do something for tonight when we get our act together. Now that we're here.
Fabulous. Well,
very cool.
Mr. Phil will come down and share some of that lunch if that works.
It works. We look forward to it.
All right. Thank you. Blessings.
Look forward to
anything that you ladies, we haven't heard your voice on the show since the intensive finished, but anything that any one of you would like to share about your experience of the intensive and or how things are functioning post-intensive.
Are you talking to us in the kitchen?
I am talking to us in the kitchen.
Okay, us in the kitchen. What's going on for us since post-intensive? I think it's, for me, kind of getting my laundry done and taking care of those kinds of things, and staying connected to wanting to do heart connections, and we haven't really taken the time to do that. And I'm recognizing that I've been, all morning with 4 lovely women, and we didn't stop and do that. And so it's like, that's what I want to do before or after lunch is do that heart connection, because I think that makes working together a whole lot easier.
Fabulous. And Joanne or Susan, anything to share?
Yes, I had an interesting experience this morning. We were in the laundromat, and we were finishing up, and most of the washers had been empty, but there was one that was making such a noise, and it was vibrating so heavily. And so I looked, and I could see that the door was open, but I saw the coin thing flashing. And so it just still looked like something was going on, but nothing was happening. And then Mary Lou and I were talking about it, and she said it's coming from the one next to it. The one next to it was much more quiet, but it was really projecting all that stuff onto the one that had nothing in it. And it made me think about the heart center, and the heart center not as in here at Heartland, but the heart center as in us, in addition to the solar plexus, and the impact of those two being so closely bound that one radiates and vibrates in the other one, and it makes it appear that something's going on, and it's not. And it could work from either way. And so I just thought that was a good, analogy for what's happening biochemically in our body. I was seeing it with the 2 washers, one empty and catching all the, all the whatever you would whack it, and energy and etc. And the other one was just kind of being there, just like it wasn't involved. So anyway, I just liked that little story, and I wanted to share that. Hello, are you there? Did we get lost?
Fabulous.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. We hear you.
So looking at projections. Good piece of the puzzle to understand, isn't it?
Michael, say it again.
I say looking at projections, it's a good piece of the puzzle to understand, isn't it?
Well, yes, it could be, and I guess where I was coming from was, in the concept of the Fillmore stuff, which I had studied before, and there are those ganglionic nerves behind the heart and behind the solar plexus, and they are sympathetic with each other. And medically, I've read a report once where doctors say that patients come in to them, and when they come in, they think they have a heart condition, and through examination, they find it's not. And it's just the reverse of that. So that was the analogy that was coming up in my mind. And so, when we get our minds and bodies together, those things vibrate in harmony and not one against the other. And that's what Heartland is about, facilitating that process.
That's definitely what we're here to do. And
okay,
go ahead.
I just said it was a good comparison.
Yes, thank you.
All right, and Susan, do you have anything to share while we're on the topic?
I have nothing.
How's the world looking?
What?
How's the world looking from your perspective at this point, post-intensive?
I think you said, how's the web looking?
The world, your world.
The world looks fine. The world is good. Danielle's sleeping, and we're making food, and everything's good from my point of view.
Awesome. Very cool. Well, any questions from any of you ladies? Anything we can support you with?
No questions here. Mary Lou,
cool.
Any questions?
Well, we'll see you in a little bit. We'll be down for salad.
Come down to lunch.
Okay. All right, bye.
Bye.
All
right, we've got about a minute and a half.
All right, well, one quick call. Well, actually, let's just kind of close it out with letting folks know that we are going to be heading west this year. We're actually heading up into southern Ontario, Canada, and then to the opposite side of the country. We're going to be heading into southern California toward the end of October. And we haven't scheduled a lot at this point. We're going to be taking some time to write as we are traveling. And so if you're somewhere in the vicinity, we would be delighted to entertain a request to set up some workshops. And we're taking a long look at just how much time we're going to have to be able to write and take care of those issues. And get some, we're redoing 4 different books at this moment. And we just invite you to take the tools, put them to work, contact us if you'd like to come play. We pay our own expenses. Workshops are free. Have the best year yet of your eternal life. Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to MindShifters Radio with the Forgiveness Doctor, Dr. Michael Ryce, and his wife, Jeanie, who presents the internal Aramaic process of forgiveness. Michael and Jeanie are here every Monday through Friday on Earth Angels Radio. For more on Michael and Jeanie, please visit www.whyagain.com. That's www.whyagain.com.